let me spell it out for you. Another Game 3 in the LPL. Who would have thought? Man, we've had so many Game 3s already. I'm excited to get into another one. B5 and JDG pushing the tempo. Great song, by the way, in this game, or this series, rather. This is Mr. Clement Chu. My name's Jake Asteric Sozipenko. We're professors to tell you one thing, and that this Game 3 is going to be as spicy as the last one.
Oh, there's going to be so much action happening in this series throughout, and I feel like it's a series where if you just pick something that can snowball with kills, it's one of those series where you're like, you know, Master Yi might not be too bad here.
Master Yi, yeah, especially when at 2 minutes into the game, you talk about snowballing. Well, that's the ultimate way to snowball a game, except it didn't really balance out in anyone's favor.
It's really tough so far. I actually like V5's strategy overall, where they're going for early game aggression. They're trying to run the mid-game team fights at least, and they're also holding on to all of the lane counters. That seemed like a really good strategy in Game 1 and Game 2. I want to see them continue that. Only thing they need to take off the board, just Zoe. Zoe's uncounterable. Yep. She's still as obnoxious as she was.
You put a Yasuo into it, and you're like, well, Windwall doesn't work.
Not really. Not really.
No, not really.
Yeah, that was a bit regrettable from Korn, and also just the exhaust popping out level 6 with Cataclysm. There's like, what do you do against that?
Kind of annoying. Yeah, it's like, oh, Zoe has exhaust. How? So Yagao Zoe again just adds to that win rate. It's something a champion you shouldn't give forward. Korn still looked okay on the Yasuo, but it went past these picks and it went to how they were played, especially in, I think it was a red side fight that was. It was so close, and you're saying, what happened here, Clement?
This is one of those fights where you can see how aggressive JD Gaming actually are. They do want to close out on kills wherever they can. Great play on Jinoo to fish out the Jarvan kill on the back end straight away. He gets his second piece onto the Yorick in the meantime, and just look at this. Counter-Strike already up. This is probably when he has Essence Flare already, so he actually survives this entire ordeal and goes on to finish off the remaining members.
It was V5 who cleaned that fight out. It was V5 who wanted to start another similar fight. It was just, look, cleaning house here again. Yagao is like, why is Jinoo still alive?
This is actually insane. I can't believe he survives with the Triumph.
Triumph held him both times. It's almost like a Vladimir that was seen out of FLICKR. Look, that was one fight, and it seemed like that other fight almost went similarly. And V5 did get the big pick, but JDG kind of came together. It was like a happy family story by the end.
Yeah, JD Gaming, they protected him very well in these last situations. It looked like it was going to go the way of V5 if they could get a big combo off. But unfortunately for Ben4, he dies to a well-timed paddle start by Yagao. No wombo combo. When it does go in, look at Yagao's HP bar. He actually stays alive for quite a while, forces Jinoo to spend a lot of time hitting him, which he didn't have, and then the Kaisa gets away to clean up.
Back to your Imp point there as well, it was very cleanly done, and I would say that it was more Imp protecting himself. Very good positioning. I think this is one of Imp's better games too.
Yeah, Imp has been showing a lot of promise. You know, I know we've been talking about Imp, how he's never lived up to the hype, but on JD Gaming, I feel like he has a very good bar to chase after, and that's what Loken did for the team.
Yeah.
Loken now going on TOP has been very successful, still on the KDA charts overall, and JD Gaming, they're still looking for the same output that Loken gave them in team fights.
That's very true. It's very hard to give an MVP for this one as well, considering for JDG, it was very similarly like, Imp, Yagao, is it Zoom? Like, man, am I giving it to Flawless? Like, I don't know who to give an MVP of this thing. You know, just throw it up. So who would you give it to? Yagao? I would give it to Imp, but Yagao's fair as well.
Hey, Yagao really kickstarted this game with all the kills. The second kill on Ben 4, where you got the double buffs, is where you go, okay, Zoe's getting out of hand. This is going completely one-sided in the mid lane, and once again, shows up with a massive Zoe performance, over 30% of the damage dealt. This one's actually a little bit low for Yagao standards.
33% low,
yeah. Usually hovers around 36 on this champion, but it's probably one of the best Zoes.
We've seen 40-50% damage Zoes as well in the LPL. That's right, 50%. So there's pretty insane plays. Yagao is one of them. A pick that we know will not find its way through pick and bans for Game 3.
100%. And I'm actually really curious if JD Gaming decide to stick onto the blue side. I think it's actually been costing them quite a bit. I would not say they have won the draft. I would say they have outplayed in Game 2, but in the drafting sense, I actually give it to V5. So I want to see JD Gaming turn up just flip the switch and go onto the red side and give Zoom a big game. I feel like he's been very, very quiet throughout this entire series where he's been counter out by Jinoo, and that's typically the part where they can swing the matchup. What we've seen in the past is between these two top laners, they're so evenly matched, they have so many resources to them, so much jungle attention, that whoever can really swing it has such a great say in the game. And I don't think it's a worthwhile strategy for JD Gaming to continue to stick on blue. I don't think they're going to get Zoe, and I think they're going to run into the same situation where both of their solo lanes are cancelled out.
Well, comment ask and you shall receive. JD will actually be transitioning to the red side, so shifting gears here for JDG and similarly for V5.
So it's up to V5 to play a more compositional-oriented game. That's the biggest difference on red side. In the LPL, a lot of solo laners have such deep champion pools. They will always be able to get the counter picks. And for V5, what's your game plan now? If you're not going to go early and hard, what is your composition going to look like?
I have to say, though, Game 3 is a very good time to flex out that Riven. The issue is you don't get the top lane counter pick if you want it. On blue side, if there is an early hover of Zooms, something like the Swain, then you can have the potential, but playing Riven into Swain, I don't know.
Oh boy. I want to see that. I want to see that so bad. I don't think either side are going to pick into it. Riven is one of those champions that if you can stay away from her, then usually in the competitive scene, the champion that has the range will prevail.
Yeah.
It's actually the champions that have to walk into Riven that have the most trouble.
That's true.
The Yoriks, the Scions, the Urgots, who can't really keep their distance. So if that does happen, I actually feel like Zoom's going to be happy with that matchup. But like you were talking about, I just want to see Jinoo Riven.
It's Game 3. Time to flex it, if ever. Jinoo, it was on the screen briefly there, has been pretty dangerous in this top lane 1v1 matchup. Jace Game 1, Jax Game 2. Was kind of the crux there for V5 in that second game, especially with the early team fighting. Korn started it, or at least Ben 4 started it, Korn helped it, and then Jinoo usually finished it. So it's still a good performance. I think Jinoo's in a very good trajectory for the LPL 2019.
Oh yeah, definitely. Jinoo's never been able to step up as the primary carry of the team. We actually haven't seen that really happen. Even on LGD, Yuki quickly took over the damage charts, and even if when Yuki wasn't topping that, Y4 did fill into the role. Jinoo was kind of in this position where he played super aggressive, but you could see he wasn't really cracking the top of the league.
It's very hard on LGD 2018 as well.
Yeah.
Just to add it in. I think it would have been very hard on LGD 2019 too, with their ups and downs. So Jinoo has a chance on middle of the pack team. Or, breaking in top 8 for LGD. This is the series that does it.
Yeah, this is for V5.
Yeah, what did I say?
You said LGD.
Oh man, living in the past.
Yeah,
all right.
that dream's already over. Welcome to reality.
Clement, come on, man. Like
the Jinoo dream. The Jinoo dream's over.
Right.
Yeah. So Jinoo, I think this is his best split so far. He started his career in 2016. He actually only played one game behind Marin. Didn't get a lot of playtime there.
It's hard when you're on the same team as Marin as well.
Yeah, I still can't believe that was a bad team though. You look down that roster and it's like, how is this a bad team? But that didn't happen for LGD. 2000 onward, we call them the sleeping dragon. They were never really awake. This time, Jinoo is woke.
No, it's a great reference, Clement, but no bedtime for these guys, especially into the Game 3 milestone, which will now hit JDG. Look, they beat IG. At this point, they've got big expectations going to Game 3, pick and ban. They then stopped with the Zoe banned away first ban from V5.
Oh, they learned their lessons pretty quickly. And JD Gaming on the other side, I like what they're doing. They're taking away all the potential flex picks that V5 have. They're saying, you know what, V5? We think that you guys only have one strategy, and that's just win lane, win game. So we're going to take away the Jace. We're going to take away the Akali. Try to beat us with something else.
Well, you look at with the Galio taken away as well. That's a LyMao pick, but 2 games on the blue side will do that to JDG. V5 do have their priorities, right? Though Lucian has been absolutely fantastic for these LPL top-tier teams. It'll be the first rotation there for V5.
Overall, Y4 has had the better side of the matchups in both games. I felt like he's been edging out Imp and Bavoy in terms of the laning phases. So I like this. V5, they're still holding on to part of their identity. They're identifying a lane that has been doing very, very well for them this series. Yep. They're going to all in on it.
Wouldn't be surprised here if we do see that bottom lane helped with the Alistar. And it being open on the red side, LyMao is a fantastic support. And in that repertoire, of course, exists the Alistar.
Typical response here would be the Braum. It makes Alistar engages very, very risky. You go in with the WQ, very small chance of you actually walking out again.
Yeah.
And Aatrox, another champion that Ben4 did very well on in the game 1. Still going on 100% win rate in the jungle position for the LPL.
Aatrox suits him. What suits him more is that Gragas, which was hovered over, but locked in is the Urgot instead. I hope that goes to Korn. I do want to see the flex potential with Gragas locked in as well. We don't know.
It is a flex for both players, in fact. So
Yep.
they have that on lockdown.
Oh, okay, all right. Settle down, Yagao. There's a LeBlanc. Now ban away all the other mid laners.
Lissandra's already out, so they only should be aware of Syndra and Ryze. Those are the two that are traditionally considered LeBlanc counters.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but Ryze was actually unsuccessful last night against Knight. JDG, don't take that on faith.
Not everyone is Knight.
Not everyone is Knight. Well, I mean, if anyone's close, maybe Yagao. Look, people out there going, what? Rubbish. Yagao is top tier mid laner in the LPL.
Well, if you guys want to learn more about Knight, you can actually just go to our Twitter and start throwing questions at him. We do have a face-to-face episode later on where I will be interviewing him. Ryze and Syndra gone, so that's telling you Yagao says he's not Knight.
He's not Knight, no, but he is aware of the counters in the mid lane. Just to echo that sentiment as well, I was going to throw a question to Knight. It's who is he intimidated in the LPL the most? Or by in the LPL? Maybe be someone like Yagao, who Zoe is not available, but is now picking up the LeBlanc. You see that V5 still have a couple of mid laners on the board after JDG banned it away, but V5 have opted to take away the Yorick and the Lee Sin. Flawless, you liked this in game 2, Clement. He might just stick to it.
Lee Sin plus LeBlanc is one of those combos that is just way too deadly. We've seen a lot of Lee Sins. You start red buff, you do level 2 gank onto the mid lane. You just land the auto attack slow, and then LeBlanc can follow up quite easily. Yeah. That 1-2 punch is a bit too difficult to deal with.
Oh! Okay, we know that the Urgot is no longer a flex. We know that V5 have just set Jinoo up for success. And in the bottom lane, what do? Pyke, Braum. Pyke keeps coming back to it. Double whammy.
Thinking about it. I still favor the Braum a little bit. It works really well with the comp that you're trying to do. Works great with melee champions that just want to get in the fray and get some auto attacks going.
You got a couple there.
What do you counter that with? Renekton's a great matchup.
And Zoom plays a darn good Renekton. Jinoo versus Zoom. Renekton versus Riven. It's R&R in the top lane, and no one's resting there for sure.
This is a matchup that technically should go 60-40 in Renekton's favor. Renekton can continuously chip at your health bar with the Cull the Meek. He has the range advantage in this matchup. But if Riven gets ahead, she gets very, very far ahead.
Yeah. Thing is, with Renekton, though, you can time your trades. The slice and dice works fantastic when people are trying to run away. Riven does not want to run away. And with double TP up there, it's going to be purely up to skill in the top lane. Clement, we set this up so well. You know, for casting points, 10 out of 10 for you, good sir. Riven game 3. Renekton from Zoom we didn't even mention because we said Swain. But Renekton's even slicier and dicier than Swain.
Well put, sir. Well put, sir. This is the matchup we've all been waiting for. Jinoo coming in with 3 victories under his belt, 100% win rate. The champion which people discovered him on, the champion that brought him to the pro stage. Can he continue the legend of Riven?
32 KDA on Riven in the LPL. Now, you guys are talking about Viper. Who? Viper? Man, this is the LPL. It's about Jinoo. This top laner sometimes plays on and makes him look good. Now, granted, it's not the Shy, but it's a Riven with 100% KDA. It's not even a niche pick anymore. It's played in the LPL. It's not stock standard either, but you know what I'm saying. Renekton a little bit more stock standard. Still has a very high win rate in the LPL. Might not be 100%, but it's close.
Now, this is one where Ben4 has to go and do overtime work into the top side. Jinoo's great on Riven. I don't think he's good enough to actually flip the matchup without help.
Oh, I don't know, Clement. I don't know. Without help was a good saving grace there.
Yes.
Right.
I don't think the Riven's ever going to be able to solo out the Renekton. It's too hard.
We've seen more spicier matchups in the LPL go the other way. I'm not counting this out yet. A great way to finish up game number 3. It ends here in what is now a best of 1. V5 taking on JDG. Riven taking on Renekton. V5 just do not talk at all. They're intimidated. We are in Beijing. We're in JDG's home arena, the latest arena to be built in China as well. As you may know, RNG, the other team that are situated in Beijing.
Both of them are very close to each other.
Hard to get a fan base as well when you're near RNG.
Not impossible for JD Gaming. They have their own fans behind LyMao.
Yeah.
Behind a little yellow, who's their manager.
And people that buy on the website, of course.
Ben4 is going to get spotted out very early. I like this coming in from Yagao. He just distort over the wall. Absolute safe play for him. And this is going to make sure that the Gragas can't really find that early gank onto the Renekton.
Very true. I was going to say, I wonder if Flawless is able to counteract that if there is some play from Ben4 on the top side of the map. But very well spotted. Zoom. This is the trade we're talking about, but level 2 already hit here from Jinoo. Equal trades in the end. The benefit is always going to go to Zoom, remember though, because press the attack Renekton does have the sustain.
This is a very passive way to play the lane coming in from Zoom. He actually started W first.
This is not good though. It's into LyMao in the bottom lane who gets chunked out there with concussive blows.
Great trade in potential using that level 2 edge. Just taking a look at the Riven, we're actually seeing one of the new additions in the runes. That will be the Blast Shield. Gives you a bit of extra adaptive power.
Yeah.
When you do use that Valor.
Makes sense when you're going in. We had so much focus on top side of the map. Flawless here into the bottom side. FLICKR Drag doesn't connect. Everything fails actually. Lay still caught out, but damage goes equally across. That's a flash burn from LyMao.
So well played incoming from Y4. Just the speed which he's able to dodge out.
Ooh, there's pings going down. Zoom actually knows that Ben4's in the top side of the map.
They did spot his earlier clear path, and Zoom has been keeping the wave relatively close to his own tower. He does have to dodge out there, though.
Yeah, that's a respect flash shown to Ben4 as Flawless walks up towards that top side. Corn will know he's going up here as well. Communication gathered by V5 and a summoner burnt in the top side and the bottom side. Interesting hex flash. LyMao being cheeky.
Yeah, actually draws a couple of chuckles. I'm not sure if that's from the Lucian. I'm not very good at
I think
identifying the sounds.
Well, it is at least an attempt from LyMao to try and burn a summoner from lane. Y4 doesn't have his flash available. Jinoo, speaking of summoners, has to use his teleport to get to the top side of the map, but that will not be the same as Zoom was able to push out the wave, so no flash, no teleport is vis-a-vis top laners.
One of the big things I want to see is how these top laners are actually going to play out the mid-game team fights. It is a Mountain Drake. Both sides will be looking to contest that. Renekton, he can just be that big frontliner. There's no one that can really take him down with the early levels of Dominus. On the other hand, it's actually pretty hard for Jinoo to find his targets. It really takes so many procs of Broken Wings. You have to be so good with the combos, so crisp to really find someone like Imp on the back line. So I want to see if his Riven is that good. Is it really at the point where he can consistently outperform other champion picks in terms of the team fighting situation? That's always been the big problem about Riven. If you get her in the back line, she's great. If she's not there, not so much.
Again, we're just focusing to the bottom side, though. This is going to be a 3v3. Clem with barrel roll in as well. Dragonflag forces the flash late. He's out of there on no HP. Now for the 2v3, but JDG still losing it over because Korn got in first. Imp goes in. Now for the 1v3. Imp just needs to get the kill. Helped by Yagao. More blood in the bottom lane. And Imp might be... nope, he's dead. Y4 with the Dragonflag to re-engage onto V5's AD carry. He's dead as well because Yagao's joined the fight. Korn underneath the turret. Wait for the distortion. Yagao jumps in. A triple for the LeBlanc. He's dead as well. 7 kills, 5 minutes, game 3.
8 people go into the bot side, only 1 person walks out. That's what we're talking about. But let's look at the kills so far. I think Korn might have a tear in his eye because he's going to go up against a 3-1-0 Yagao.
I mean, he got 2 kills himself though, Chloe, but they both have bounties, so it's 1 kill is the difference.
That's true. So well played. It actually started out pretty bad for V5 because they're walking into a minion wave, and Flawless did catch up with their pants down. Great flash by Lay, and just look at how long Ben4 and Lay were able to drag this fight out. It really makes Imp's job so hard. He needs to overextend to get those kills down. But at the end of the day, it really is Yagao that comes up with as the biggest benefactor of all of this. Y4 not having his second E dash up, goes in to finish off the kill, gets caught out by everything from Flawless, and great teamwork, great teamwork.
Yeah, good teamwork, Clement. That's what I'll take out of that. It is also just exciting gameplay that early into it.
That was on the knife's edge. That should have gone a lot worse for V5, to be honest. I feel like Y4 and Lay actually got out extremely lucky with sub 100 HPs. They were able to walk away from the fight, and that's kind of what saved it into an equal situation. They were very far overextended to get that gank.
I mean, the issue was in the end, it was all bottom lane that did die out. So LyMao, Lay, Y4, and Imp all have a death on the board. And the lane that we thought would be this bloody was the top lane, which has actually been relatively quiet in favor of Jinoo by 10 CS with the triple longsword.
That's actually quite surprising. I wonder what's Jinoo's actually doing. He did expend an extra teleport, I believe.
And I don't believe he has magical footwear. No, he doesn't have inspiration as his secondary tree, so he's not willing to go for the boots instead.
Jinoo's actually going to go for, he definitely has the resolution tree. We did see the shield burst.
Yep. Resolution tree?
The resolve, sorry.
That's alright.
My bad, my bad.
That's alright. I guess it's the same.
It started with the same 3
You know,
letters.
it does give you a resolution, Clement. You're definitely onto something there. If right developers are listening to you, my man, they're going, why did we not think of this?
Hey, that's why we have play-by-plays.
Yeah.
You guys are supposed to be the memory cards for us.
I was about to say, careful what you say about us, mate. I'm, judging that.
A bit overextended. He's actually sandwiched.
Is he though? He's a Riven. There you go. He's out. Riven. Riven is never caught out. Wouldn't have mattered anyway because there was always going to be a trade for V5. And that is the Mountain Dragon.
Risk does pay off. They spot the jungler out on the top side. Instant play in the bot.
Yeah. Tempo being built up a little bit here by V5. Bottom lane was focused around, but now Ben4's going to the mid lane. Yagao still not doing too much damage after those 3 kills. Went back and got the Sork boots. And Yagao going for the all-in as Ben falls here. He's like, who do I go on to? Flawless is between him. The sandwich there. Yagao, fancy footwork once again. The heal away, the explosive cast, the flash, meaning he's going to stay. Korn hit with the ulti. Fear Beyond Death is onto Flawless. He gets hit, but out of the Cataclysm, Korn still very low. Lay comes up to secure the kill. The ulti misses and goes wide.
Only one more hit.
In the flash, the double commit. LyMao trying to save his jungler, but does he in time? Cowbell's out. We need more of it. And V5 can't chase any further, but good picks again, and Korn now has 3 kills.
Flawless coming into the lane at the wrong time, cost his mid laner his life, but LyMao with the expert save. That was very, very well done by him. It flashes over the wall and it correctly headbutts the right target. It might sound kind of rudimentary, but it's actually pretty hard in that moment when both of those champions are stacked together. Does get Lucian out of the way to save Flawless.
And whenever LyMao has flash up, you know he's going to burn it. The way this game is going, people just burn their summoners whenever they can.
It's a really close fight earlier on. Flawless definitely had the damage to go in on there, but Ben4 with the drop on the situation. Yagao survived this for about as long as he possibly could, but Corn still finds the Fear Beyond Death blind into the brush and figures out that kill. And we don't get to see LyMao.
Nah, they don't want to hero LyMao. They're like, you know what, this Alistar didn't do anything. When in reality, a good saving grace for Flawless in the end. But Corn got a shutdown onto Flawless, who for some... No, sorry. It was Yagao, because that makes sense as a bounty. So that was 600 gold that just went into Corn's pocket. Now the difference is, Yagao got killed so early on, there was no bounty. Corn has 3 kills the same, but he got an extra 600 gold and has a Black Cleaver.
Oh, Corn's definitely very far ahead in this matchup at this point. There's nothing that Yagao can really do to push him out of lane. I don't think he has enough damage at this point. And JD Gaming, they're hard-pressed to find one single spot to snowball.
We know what spot that should be, Clement, and that is Zoom in the top lane, who is actually getting traded out. It's not a matchup we see often, but maybe it's changed in the past couple of years. Zoom, caught underneath. Ben can't get past the minions. Dominus is out, but Corn's here. Explosive cast. Fear Beyond Death lands. Oh, yes, that feels good for Corn.
Great play from V5. Just watch Zoom bouncing around there.
Oh, Yagao flushes in with Distortion. What is this? Binding doesn't land. It goes the wrong way. Jinoo underneath turret. Yagao can be dove here. A lot of summoners burn, but the Dragonfly doesn't find Jinoo. Finds onto Corn. Flawless now has to disengage because this is not the right fight. Ben forward with the barrel roll.
And the supports are coming in for the action as well on the bot side.
What is
JD Gaming have to disengage though.
This is the perfect blend, you know? This is the yin and yang of LPL teams, I feel. And it's a perfect balance, it seems here, Clement, of V5 and JDG. There's a 2k gold lead over to V5, but JDG always have this feeling that they're willing to commit to the play, even being down.
Is that really yin and yang? That feels like yin and yang to me.
Honestly, I don't understand a lot about culture. I'm hoping you can kind of guide me at my weakest points.
Oh, it's okay. Yang is about the fire. It's about the life, the situation. And that looks like both
teams.
sides are just like trying to ram into...
But what is the yin? Is the yin the balance, what is it?
It's supposed to be about being chill.
Coolness.
The
chill.
coolness.
Yeah, okay. So I had a general idea. Just didn't think before I used words. Setting a bad tone for play-by-plays all across the world, apparently.
No, it's fine, it's fine.
Thank you, Clement. That's why I rely on you, my friend. But it does feel like they have both sides, is what I'm trying to get at here. And those both sides will have to know that this Rift Herald's going on. One more than the other because Rift Herald's being done by them. And being threatened away is Zoom, so Rift Herald does eventually go over to Ben 4.
This does feel like Riven actually getting the upper hand most of the time. Look how defensive JD Gaming are trying to play the top side. They know that Zoom has been targeted multiple times already, and it's really up to them to see if they can equalize on that Herald take. They have a Temple lead.
Oh, that's a cow you do not want to see out of his pasture. Knocks back LyMao, rather lay does it, and here comes Fear Beyond Death, just turned around by V5. LyMao was ambitious for the play, but this is just going to bite him back. Jinoo's there, doesn't find the W to lock him down. Cow getting hit here while JDG running for their lives. Zoom just doesn't have enough damage just yet, and LyMao, look at this cow. My lord, do you want a beef burger or a chicken burger? Jinoo says beef, please.
How is Corn synergizing so well with the rest of the team? He shows up on the scene, Fear Beyond Death, instantly picks off a kill. It looks so good for Yagao. They actually had the drop on the Braum, but everyone was ready at that point.
And V5 use it to collapse on the mid lane turret. They are ready for this game 3, Clement. It even gets another charge. V5. They have sowed the seeds of defeat in JDG. A win here against Jingdong. Big question marks over JDG, but even more expectations being built for V5. Infernal's been bashed away from.
This is a series we finally find out what V5 are made out of.
Yeah.
Not a lot of series matches and not a lot of games being played for V5 currently.
That's right. They got the lowest series played next to RNG.
This is the best turnaround we've seen all split. Like, it was a really good surround from JD Gaming. It looked like it was going to work out. Exhaust instantly into the Fear Beyond Death.
That's a great ult by Lay as well.
And it's just disaster for JD Gaming because Zoom also finishes teleport at that point.
Oh, finished him, and he can't
leave
it.
Cancel. He's already pressed the button.
Yeah. Oof. It's rough. The rivet on Jinoo looks great. That's what we know for sure. The laning phase has been hell for Zoom. He's 20 CS behind, almost 30. The mid lane was great for Yagao until it wasn't, where Corn now has 5 kills. an almost second item, moving into the Righteous Glory. Bottom lane has been good for Imp, though. So there is a bonus considering you beat out the Lucian Brom in the early laning phase by 30 CS as a Kai'Sa Alistar. There are some elements there for JDG. They have an Infernal to work with, and that Kai'Sa who is getting close to the second item. I can't believe I'm saying this, but in JDG, I'm relying on Imp.
If there's ever a time, it's now.
He's got it. He's got 1,000 gold lead just about. Top lane's down. Mid lane's now down as well. Ben4 does pick up the blue buff. That's a feels bad for Korn, but it is a Gragas, so who cares? Give the fat boy what he wants.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, Gragas, he drinks too much.
I know.
Look at him. Gragas needs to lose some weight.
Stands around, wobbling there.
Yep.
Can see the gold lead for Jinoo quite heavily in his favor. Actually, the entire top side is winning out massively. And this is a composition they could transition very easily into a Baron. They have the damage to do so.
If they get this pick here, onto LyMao, onto Imp, underneath this turret, could very well start it up this early on. Rather, it's 16 minutes in the game. They can't start it because it's not there yet.
I'm just saying, looking ahead.
No, that's my fault, Clement, don't you worry. V5, however, still want to make this dive a reality. And turret will be first. 4 versus 3 up here. Yagao's coming up 2. Oh, hello.
Right,
now, I'm going to tell you who wins this, Clement. In the 1v1, the flash forward, Jinoo, proxy ulti, Dominus versus the best blade ever. Yagao, this is not fair. This is not how you play with friends. Jinoo is going to die here only because Yagao is such a bully. He flashes over, distortions in. Jinoo says, where is my 1v1, you coward?
Hey, team play is not fair. You get more numbers onto the map. You deserve to win right there.
JDG would rather win than be honorable, and that's just disgusting. Turret will go down, V5 will take the trade. It doesn't matter about honor anymore, it matters about that gold.
My play-by-play doesn't agree with that play, but I like it on Yagao. I like that he's finding kills.
I'm the guy that's like, I'm the Nasus, right? And I see a Riven and I'm like, you know what? I know how this is meant to go. Let's go 1v1. Any stage of the game. And I know how Nasus goes. It's 40 minutes and Riven comes at me. I'm like, you're done.
And this is why Riven players get a bad rep. Because they think it's about the 1v1.
Yeah. And it should be. So Zoom, although gets help from Yagao. It's a much needed kill for Yagao being 4 and 3. We'll take another quick look replay at how this evolved, to put it lightly.
Yeah, Jinoo always canceling out the crowd control duration coming in from the Renekton. He's actually done this multiple times in the trade pattern where he uses the key burst to cancel out the extra damage coming in after the W from Renekton. But he just walks a little bit too far forward. He could have won that trade. Very good play on Zoom. And they're going to make it once more about the team play rather than the solo.
Zoom definitely couldn't 1v1 there. Jinoo still had the ultimate to push on. And Zoom now level 11, so better Dominus, but the Renekton just hasn't got his first item yet. And that's really rough, considering that the Riven has the CC, has the gap close, more CC than Zoom. Zoom hasn't found his first item. Zoom's in serious danger of falling off before he's even begun.
That's one thing about Renekton that I don't really think happens to him anymore is there really isn't a fall-off point for the Renekton.
Okay.
In the previous seasons where you see Renekton played, he usually finishes build with something like a Sunfire and Spirit Visage. Right now, he goes for the Guardian's Angel and the Steric's Gauge, which gives him so much AD that even in later phases of the game, he's still a one-shot threat to your backline. So I think that's one of the reasons that Renekton has been so prominent in the LPL at least. There really isn't a phase with how fast the league plays in general where Renekton feels irrelevant.
Well, we'll see how Zoom goes then, because when that first item gets picked up, we know at the very least that he will feel more relevant. And against Jinoo's Riven, who's almost got his second item, this will be big. This is an Infernal. JDG already have one. They're going to get the second. They get out.
That was very impressive.
That was almost too easy for JDG.
I don't think that should have happened for V5. With the lead they were having, but it was smart on JD Games' part. They forced out Jinoo from the bot lane, and just a very easy collapse onto the Infernal.
We'll be able to farm under turret as well. Double Infernal. JDG only getting more resources onto Imp. V5 collapsing onto this red buff. Yagao, you sneaky devil, over the wall. Ben4 almost dies. Red buff does go over to the side of Y4. They heal. The Cataclysm in. JDG send Imp first. Yagao second. Culling in third. JDG get the collapse onto Korn. He's dead. That's a big, big bounty onto Imp.
And it's unfortunate timing as well. JD Gaming, they could even have the potential to force off all members of V5, but Jinoo was still alive, walking towards the mid lane, does dissuade that from that, dissuade them from that play.
Yep, has teleport, and Zoom does not. So Zoom will have to match this at 1.2. And that's going to be the difference. Clement, let's watch this moment of beauty again.
Yeah, I feel like this was an unfortunate situation where Ben4 probably should not have used his stasis. He was I understand he was worried about getting killed right there, but great play on Flawless to catch it up. It looked like Y4 almost had a moment where he could have hero played this situation, but Yagao gets away just in time, and questionable teleport from Korn at that moment. I feel like that was something that was better saved rather than used at that point.
But it's all right, Clement, because you know why. We saw League of Stopwatches Part 2 in that little fight. Amazing how quickly they can come out. We also, well, rather some of them were Zhonya's anyway. But good to see that JDG willing to pull the trigger still. This is an even game. It might be 2K over to the side of V5, but double Infernal, the cost there is immeasurable. We can actually do stats on it, but, you know, I don't have the time, especially not right now. So that's double Infernal, 21 minutes into the game. Baron up. Next one's going to be Mountain. There's already Mountain for V5. They can even the score, especially with how quickly they can probably take this Baron. Quickly, maybe.
They're at the phase where they should be winning out team fights, so I want to see them aggressively position for objectives as they come up. The Mountain Drake, like you were talking about, definitely a very worthwhile objective. They should be the ones starting to force JD Gaming into coming and checking this area of the map. They have the Gragas to potentially just blow them out of the water, get a sudden pick for someone that's trying to poke their head out. So I want to see them try and do that a little bit more. I feel like they're letting JD Gaming a bit off the hook with how much pressure they had earlier.
It's almost desynchronized back timings that are doing it as well. You know, Y4 clears the ward, Lay moves back to the mid lane, Y4 disappears, and there's not a controlled push to regain some of that vision that you were just mentioning. And JDG, they just have to play around where V5 are, and if they're not around that Baron pit, they get more of that free vision, and it's a lot harder for V5 to clear, especially since we don't have many control wards coming in from V5. 3 lenses though, and you're waiting for V5 to recheck.
And JD Gaming pretty much have a free scaling option with Kaisa and double Infernals. That pretty much gives you so much free gold into the later phases of the game, especially after things like Death Cap. So they're pretty happy to draw this out or just stand around the Baron pit, make sure V5 aren't starting it. It is up for V5 to kind of find a way to goad them into it. And one of the matchups I actually want to really hone in on and see if Jinoo can handle is Yagao at this point. Yagao sitting with a lot more kills, almost even CS. Riven can still burst him out, but if Yagao's going to have the solo lane split push, it's going to make it very hard for V5 to then force JD Gaming into engages.
Super hard to get onto him as well. And LeBlanc just always had that ability to outplay, even though it is a Riven we're talking about, folks. But only one item so far on Jinoo. The ability to gain resources here for Yagao has been great this game, so he has the advantage, and there is no MR on Jinoo. There's just a chance in that 1v1 if it happens, that Jinoo just gets bursted out before he even begins.
Really like moving Yagao towards the bot side of the map. Previously, they had Zoom down there with the teleport, but now since his teleport is on cooldown, you swap over someone that does have the TP. He also wins out on the matchup as well. So this is really grinding V5's advances to a halt. I want to see a little bit more action. Yagao is the main damage dealer, the main catch potential from V5. So if you see him on the bot side of the map, I feel like V5 should be willing to venture into the red side jungle.
They got a teleport, they got Korn with Spellbook, so it's a possibility if they can actually make this play happen. Around Baron, they're clearing vision, setting up for the potential of that play. Jinoo just farming away. He has the Youmu's now. 2-item Riven. It's a good time to fight, considering Zoom just doesn't have his. They've found a pick onto LyMao. They pop him back. Unbreakable Will is available. Hasn't popped it just yet. Waiting around. Ultimate doesn't get popped. LyMao knew he was dead there. That's a very big pick for V5.
Yeah, great play coming in from V5. This is what I was talking about. LeBlanc showed herself in the bot side, instantly walk into the red side jungle. You know there's not enough damage potential to burst one of your members down, and now it's a 5v4 at Baron.
Jinoo's walked up here as well. Baron at 8,000. Yagao looking for this Riven in the brush. What will he do? The team fight or the Riven first? Jinoo hasn't been spotted. Going in. Jinoo doesn't get the stun either. Yagao doesn't use the flash. What happened there? They're right onto the back of Baron. 3,000 now, waiting for the engage. Zoom goes in, the steal away, and V5 caught out of the pit. Flawless goes out with the only stone plate there. Flawless may die here, but the re-engage as Imp is just firing away on the backline. Culling there, flush forward from him. This is pretty good from the Kaiser. JDG in a 3 versus 2, but look at the flank. Where is that Riven? Onto LyMao, who's zoning away. Ben4 goes back in, has the Zhonya's, but a double over to the side of the Renekton. Zoom has finally got his kill, his taste of blood, Manflesh onto Y4. Zoom going in, honing again, give me more, and Zoom will take it, and JDG will take the Baron at that.
Absolute disaster for V5. They had the extra kill, the extra member, but in comes Flawless from the top side. They didn't have anyone to really zone that out. I was a bit surprised by that play. It was all too easy for Flawless. Very similar levels for Ben4 and Flawless, so the smite should have been equal. I really wanted to see the explosive cast at least attempt to bring Flawless outside of the fight situation, but that was not done. And they find such an easy, Flawless actually finds such an easy way into the pit. Watch that smite again. 731 actually gets the smite before, does he even use the smite for that? Yes, he does use the smite for that to get that down. And this was also a situation where I felt like V5's 3-man shouldn't have walked in. That was actually a situation where they wanted to recoup with the rest of the team towards the top end, but instead Horn goes a little far forward while Ben4 and Jinoo are on the other side of the Baron pit. Great reaction.
Imp is having a fantastic series. Let me just put that out there. Imp has been, you know, I hear all you people saying washed up. You know, get out of town. 3-1-5 now, 1,000 gold bounty. Imp returning to somewhat, let's say, form of the world-class AD carry. And it's been a long time. This Kaiser game, he would have had that kill on Y4 immediately as well. It's only because of the concussive blows from Lei that he stopped short.
Imp still has it.
Yeah.
That's the summary of the situation. He can still play all of those late game hyper carries and do well in the team fights. He's not just Lucian or Sivir, which has a natural advantage in lane. He can do well in those situations. He can fill the shoes of Loken. This is what JD Gaming are looking for, and they're on the cusp of closing V5 out.
He's the person they have to kill for V5. Colonel, you're just tripping, aren't you? You don't know what's going on, man. You move it away. You know what Raz would say? He said, get out of here. And I would agree with Raz right now. JDG sitting in the bot side, but doesn't mean V5 can't find their way back in. 3,000 gold the difference, looking for the inhibitor turret. Like I said before, they need Imp. They need Yagao. Zoom even has some kills now as well. The Renekton sitting in the mid lane with an interesting 1-4.
Really risky by JD Gaming to show the Renekton mid while they're doing that in the bot side as well. But they do get the poke out. Yagao does find a good target and takes him out of the situation where they could have been engaged on.
Yeah. I'm curious about the 1v1 now though, Clement. Level 15 on both Jinoo and Zoom. He's walking up, they've engaged on. Explosive cast doesn't hit Yagao or Zoom. They get the turret. That's an ulti down. Floors away with the Dragon Flag just in time from the Winter's Bite and the concussive blow combination.
Ooh, that was very close for JD Gaming. If the explosive cast landed just a little bit further behind the ranks, Yagao could have been blown back there.
Look at LyMao.
With fire.
LyMao really wants to go in here as well, so you can see why JDG are just on the cusp of another inhibitor turret. They'll back away. Baron buff, I believe, is about to expire, if it hasn't already. And V5 successfully defend. The inhibitor turret's key to keeping them in this game 3.
Really want to see how V5 can dig themselves out of this hole at this point. They do have a lot of execution power, and we've seen so many times where Y4 is able to tap onto Flawless and slow him in his tracks. He already has the concussive blows on him.
Yeah.
So it is a situation where V5 do have tools to come back, but the main people we really want to see is, number one, can Jinoo find the flank, and how well is Ben4 going to use his explosive cast? This is his most played champion on the Gragas. He's had a lot of comeback moments. Is this going to be one of them?
Explosive cast has been so key in previous matchups to actually getting the kill or be killed fight that I'm expecting to see out of this one. And like you said, Ben4, the Gragas is almost a niche pick in the jungle for him. No one else really willing to take it unless it is in that support position, which we still see. Ben4 always opting in for it, and it's no surprise that on this game 3 we see it again being the key playmaker in this big team fight that again we're waiting for with Baron coming up in a minute.
Tien and Ben4 are the only Gragas players that are very consistent with it.
Well said.
Put Clear Love in there as well.
Yeah. More, I want to see more of his Skarner. I think that being the difference.
He can go on those champions that are not really duelists and still do well. Probably the only one in the LPL.
I want to walk away and talk about Jinoo just for a second. Because you did mention there before that we want to see Jinoo find a flank. The issue now is that he's being out-damaged by Zoom. That's a Sterix Gauge picked up. There's a Titanic Hydra on the Renekton. Zoom was so far behind of Jinoo. And so far behind of the rest of the map as well. Those 3 kills have put a bounty on his head. They've put the items in hand. I don't even know. How many hands do you need to hold all those items? I feel like Sterix Gauge is like a knuckle. So maybe that's a gauntlet.
Technically, it's the spirit of the items that imbues itself onto the champions.
You gotta hold it,
That's
Clement.
What happened. No. That's the explanation when summoners and Institute of War was still a thing.
Oh, okay.
But it's not. It's no longer the case. It's the essence of the items.
Are we not summoners anymore?
No, you're not.
Oh.
We're casters now.
Yeah. All right. Well. That's definitely an upgrade, I'm going to tell you firsthand, ladies and gentlemen. An upgrade like LyMao wants to take. This is a big pick onto Lei. Concussive blows are landing, but the also down. They've found the pick onto Yagao. Watch out for Jinoo coming in from the side. They take the blast code. Jinoo does lock down Zoom, who's tanky as all hell, but not tanky enough. He does get Lei before he drops on down. Big pickoffs there from V5, enough to start the Baron.
Great start of the fight coming in from Lei. Seems like he was caught out, but he landed all the necessary skill shots onto Yagao to zone it out.
Let's not see another Baron still. 4K now. LyMao and Imp want the Scuttlecrab for vision. They want to poke their head in at 3K. Jinoo still in the pit. They're taking so much damage into the lockdown. LyMao goes gold. Imp free-firing once again. He ults with a killer instinct. It's Imp again, just free-firing. Jinoo can't get near him. Imp loses his jungler. Can he 1v3? Imp finds one onto Jinoo for the second of the GA. They're so dangerously low. Jinoo charging up for the CC. Can't find it. What the hell was that? A quadra kill for Imp, and everybody dies.
10 people dead on the map. No one survives the fight. Imp goes down to the wire to clean it up for JD Gaming. Let's watch that again. The first thing that happens is Yagao actually does fall down. He goes in, Y4 expertly dodges it out on the distortion, keeps himself alive, and it looks like a 5v4 fight to start it off. Jinoo then finds the target onto Zoom, and you know, we could speed this up a little, but the key play here is Ben4 finding himself back into the 2-man knockup at the start of this. Here we go, he's gonna look for it. Imp is inching his way forward, and I want to draw your attention to this. Imp actually uses the killer instinct to dodge out on the disdain from Korn. Does not get hit by the crowd control, and is able to go into 1v3 mode.
Jinoo even charges up the second Broken Blade. Boom.
Gets the crowd control.
Man, everyone's emotes just fly up. The ace emote was up. And no one benefits from that play in the end. But arguably, I mean, Baron did go down. Did it? No, Baron didn't go down.
No one was there left alive to take Baron.
Imp got a quadra kill. There's your benefit right there. 7-2 and 6 on the Kai'Sa. His KDA benefited heavily. A lot of GAs popped down. This is attempt number 2. What happens this time?
Are you not entertained? It was down to an Icathian Rain last time.
Yagao just takes down Ben4. What a big pickup from the mid laner. A big knockup from LyMao. The wombo combo starts again, but this time JDG expend everything. V5 caught with their pants down, and they're doing the old man Gracie. This is JDG in peak performance, ladies and gentlemen. You may not like it, you may not believe it, but Yagao, being one of the best mid laners, he darn well shows it.
Yagao's a hero once more. We've seen this play go on from Knight in the previous series where they just sniped the jungler out. Ben4 not quick enough on the fingers, doesn't get his stasis on in time, and that was actually through a Banshee's Veil as well.
JDG get through the veil, they get through everything. Imp is a star this game as well. A peak performance again, and JDG take down V5 and silence any naysayers that say they can't make top 4.
35 kills in 34 minutes of gameplay. Every team fight coming down to the wire. But finally, Yagao cannot be contained. He finds the crucial pick onto Gragas and continues V5's barren woes.
And you know what? Coming into today, Clement, I said, yeah, JDG V5 might be fun. It might be okay, you know, depending on how JDG are feeling, how V5 are performing. Both teams came into this full throttle. Again, this is a performance that tells you how much fun the LPL can be, yes. But it's a performance that tells you that every team in the LPL is pretty much up there. Bar some others, to be realistic, but V5 and JDG, this is meant to be our mid-tier talent.
It's one of the greatest tragedies in the world that there's only 8 slots for playoffs in the LPL.
Yeah.
We have at least 12 high-caliber teams that can bring this type of action every single day. At the end of it, at the end of the week 10, some of these are not going to be with us.
I would hope that one of them is Imp after that performance. Never would I catch myself saying this. I thought Bavoy was putting on a better performance just because of his growth since Demacia Cup. But Imp has stepped up to the plate. And I'm going to say his Kai'Sa looks great.
The Quadra kill, the Acathian Rain to equalize a 1v3 scenario and keep his team in the game.
It was the Q that got the ace and the Quadra kill.
That was so insane. I did not expect that series to be this good at all. This is the renaissance for Imp. This is his revenge against Y4, showing that he deserves the spot. This is telling, hey, Bavoy, can you move over just a little bit? This is my slot for now. Can I sit here?
Yeah.
And the Sleeping Dragon, they never got the Imp going.
But JDG did apparently. A good series to remember. However, coming up next will be Rogue Warriors and Snake, which we will be doing in full right after this short break.